And welcome to the drill down to business stories behind stocks on a move. I'm Corey Johnson. Well, just ahead, NiCE is betting nearly $1 billion that AI agents and automated self-service will define the next decade of customer experience, and they're doing it right now. Scott Russell is going to explain why the company is paying a premium to grow that business and what's in the near future of putting AI to work. But first, it's sponsor time. The drill down brought to you by Alexa. Never miss another critical event or insight with Area. Customize your company watch lists and track key events, mentions, filings, and more, all with easy use and customizable interface. That's Era, AIERA.com. Right. I'm Corey Johnson. Welcome to the drill down. We're going to talk about the business stories behind one stocks on the move. NiCE. It's both the ticker and the company, a software company focused on customer experience, AI automation, fraud and compliance tools for large enterprises. So think call centers, banks, telecom providers, airlines, government agencies. They've layered in AI across all of their product lines, and they say AI self-service is going to be 40% of recurring revenue in this calendar year. CEO Scott Russell joins us right now from Hoboken, New Jersey. Glad to have you, Scott, and I'm glad you got the wardrobe memo. How do you describe? And in preparing for this interview and listening to conference calls, I realize that sometimes it is my challenge is to avoid jargon if at all possible. But how do you explain what your business does in a very basic way?
I'll try to explain it. So great to see you, Corey. And I'll explain it in two parts. So for nearly 40 years, we have been the market leader in what has been traditionally called contact center as a service. Humans connecting with brands, usually for problems, issues, tasks, ideas, or resolution or of their needs and fulfilling those. And so that's historically been over 15 million human agents or customer service representatives receiving phone calls, texts, chats, emails, and corresponding with consumers.
15 million?
15 million people humans waking up every day around the world, answering and responding to requests from consumers to those brands.
It's incredible.
And historically, it's been a part of the business which is as much about containment as it is about true resolution, because often those service representatives are answering a call, and we've all experienced it. We've been on the other end of the line and we've said, oh, can you hold for a few moments? And they're responding, trying to resolve your request, your need, and they're trying to do it in an expedient way. And so that's been the world of contact center. We are the market leader. We have over 20 billion interactions, i.e. a lot of voice, a lot of chat on that platform. But now with AI, that world has changed dramatically. And I'll put it into three simple forms. First of all, automation. You will chat on a voice with an AI agent that will be able to completely resolve, we think, up to 30% of those engagements automatically through an AI agent that has the knowledge, the data, the process, the insights, and the guardrails to be able to meet your needs. What does that mean for us as a consumer? Instantaneous service, resolution to our ask without needing to wait. There's no more, let me put you on hold. Secondly, if we do need to speak to a human, then we've got assistance, so augmentation, co-pilot, real-time prompting, knowledge, getting the insights of the organization, but also, frankly, you as a consumer. How do I feel? What is my sentiment? And being able to do that in an effective way. And then last but not least, and the most exciting, is AI allows us to automate the resolution of all of those asks that often go into the enterprise.
Right.
Billing complaints, credit claims,
the back end,
and being able to do that autonomously.
So why do you think, we've all seen this probably, I can think of experiences I've had that were both bad before, and I'll get to why I think it's getting better, I'll let you tell me, but why do you think it is that your industry, maybe faster than anyone, really embraced AI output?
I think there's two primary reasons. Number one, the consumer demand around instantaneous, the consumer intent around, I'm not willing to wait. I'm not willing to pause. I don't want to be stuck on a call. They are driving demand for brands to say, okay, I've got really good customers.
Let me push back there, because everybody, the same people that are insistent on getting answers right now from you are insistent in every aspect of their life. Why did your industry give them what they were asking for, not others?
Because AI has an immediate return. They're able to provide instantaneous. Let me give you a real example. Airlines, so we've got great airline customers. Lufthansa is a great customer of ours. When you want to rebook your scheduling or rebooking a flight, that usually happens when an incident or event occurs. So during the normal travel, but when there's a storm, flights are cancelled or delayed, you get a spike in volume. Call centers can't absorb that. You don't resource to that. So you take away the human constraint, and the AI platform that we're already doing with Lufthansa can handle thousands and thousands of instantaneous calls with the AI platform. Flood the zone, deal with the demand, and then you're able to handle those spikes. So the benefits case from the consumer and the brand is just a no-brainer, which is why we're seeing demand in our space. And look, the second thing that I will say is brands see the efficiency and the optimization that a human doing what AI can do with the right capabilities. There is no doubt that the benefits case is clear. They can reduce their number of agents, or more importantly, not increase it, the humans, and they're able to handle an increasing demand. And remember this, the demand, the volume of interactions between people and their brands is increasing and increasing dramatically. Our AI growth is 65% this year. Our digital growth is 45%. But good old voice, picking up a phone call, calling a brand, up 27%. So in all channels, we're seeing increased demand, and brands have to be able to respond to that and not have an inferior service.
The financial modeling geek in me says also, if your highest margin business, presumably the AI business, is a higher margin than the people on telephones. Is that right?
Both are really strong margins, but you're right. The AI margins are a sustainably, because the more we build in, we have a lower incremental cost. That is true.
And so if your fastest growing business is also your highest margin business, it means your overall profitability is going to ramp as rapidly.
That is correct. And it also allows us to go into, traditionally customer service has been that service. But what we're now seeing with AI as well, brands are going outbound. I'll give you another example. We've got great telco customers. You mentioned them at the beginning. You've been traveling, Corey. Your plan, it triggers that you're getting international fees on your existing plan. A proactive outreach.
Let's say I go somewhere like Australia.
Yeah, exactly right. Great
so
country.
I can better understand what you're saying.
Beautiful cities like Australia, in Sydney and Melbourne. And so you're able to have a proactive outreach with AI that says, hey, look, we notice you're traveling. We're able to do an upgrade of your plan, one click of a button, reduce your cost as a consumer that you didn't ask for. Maybe you were thinking about it, but the brand thought for you, and you're able to. And so it's not just inbound, but it's proactive inbound and outbound. Again, more value, more revenue for us, more value for the brand, better experience for the consumer.
And the kind of outreach that wouldn't have been cost effective if you had to make individuals making calls, cold calling to sell that or something.
That is, it's targeted, it's knowledge based. You're using the data, and then you're using an automatic outreach using digital platform, and it's a click of a button on the phone rather than a voice call by a human, expensive, not a high attainment rate. So you're able to get better success in terms, because often consumers are interested in the offer, but they're not ready to take the phone call. We're all busy, but doing it on in terms that are available. And remember, AI is 24/7, 365. It's never down. It never sleeps. We're able to deliver that service no matter where you are. And so your provider's in the US, Corey, but when you're sitting in Australia and you're on the other side of the planet, they're able to serve your needs no matter where you are at any time.
Well, let's take that example again. The international traveler. Most of the phone users domestically are not going to be international travelers. So find the marketing function, essentially, which is what that is, right? It's a marketing and maybe even a sales function. There are so many steps that we can envision in that, right? Identifying the target audience, creating an offer that's written to them, maybe even in a language that they speak or read, and then there's a sales function behind that to kind of take them through that process. And only the carrier is going to know all of the ways that works at that carrier. So I think that's a wonderful illustration, thank you, of what is possible with agentic AI, but why the programming of agentic AI is necessary that the customer does that, not NiCE or anybody else, whoever they're using. I was at a big Oracle conference a few weeks ago, and there was a lot of conversations about how simply you can allow customers to create agentic AI programs. And I've heard you talk about the same thing in some of your recent conference calls. It sounds like giving your customers those tools and making them simple enough. If it was me, I wouldn't talk to a customer this way, but even for my dumb customers to use, so they can program it really simply without mistakes. It seems like that's must be challenging, but certainly must be the goal.
Oh, there's no doubt, and they're busy customers. We'll call them that, and we're all time poor. But to your point, the way it ran for an enterprise before is you had the data in your systems. And remember, most of the data around what the consumer wants and needs are sits within the NiCE platform. We understand intents, interactions, behaviors, knowledge. We have all of that on our platform. But that data now was previously orientated to go to a human, to build a campaign, to go to a salesperson. So you needed cases, you needed workflows. But now, on our platform, we can initiate an AI agent, automatically identify based on Corey's in Sydney, he's overstepped, he's triggering a higher spend on his plan. We can offer him a new offer that includes international travel. We can proactively reach out. Guess what? Didn't have to contact any humans in marketing. Didn't have to contact any humans in sales. You're using the same intent data of you being an inbound caller to an outbound. So the efficiency, but also the personalization that brings. They're offering you something that is tailored to where you are and what you need at the time you need it. And that means your success rate, both on resolving the inbound, but also addressing needs on the other side, is much more compelling.
But there's also the aspect of where the customer themselves might want to tweak it as it's working. And they might want to say, oh, we were sending it to this billing system, domestic. It turns out we have to send it to the other billing system, international. The rest of the program's working. We can do that without having to deal with NiCE. We've got our own ability to program this agentic agent.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And I'll give you, I often get this question just on that ability to build my own agents. I've said this many times, but I'll say it again. Anyone can build an AI bot. I can do it in 10 minutes. Open platform, it's very, very easy. But what we don't want to do is replicate poor experiences that may have happened in the past. When you call and you've got a dispute on a bill that's on your credit card, the last thing that you want to do is have an AI agent do exactly what a human might need to do, which is, look, let me take your call and we'll come back to you, because they need to go inside the organization. What was the bill? Talk to the billing, the credit adjust. Is that valid or not? So that's wait time for a consumer. So what we're doing is we're automating the actual resolution of the AI agent at that time of interaction. So you can do a simple bot, but doing a bot that solves your need as a consumer, that's what we really want. And that drives up the brand's loyalty and trust for their consumer base, because no one has the patience for long wait times in customer service. They want instantaneous response, and AI on the platform that is able to enable that is the way to do it.
Now, you've done some acquisitions lately. Talk to me about what the holes you're trying to fill, or what capabilities those have brought to you, and then how you evaluate the return on the investment there.
Yeah, sure. As I mentioned at the beginning, we've been the leader in the contact center as a service world. We obviously have the largest market. We're the largest in terms of revenue, customer base. But the reality is there was a large market where brands or companies were going and building their AI capability, called conversational and agentic AI, i.e. building that automation that we talked about, best of breed players. And so we're the leader in voice, we're the leader in digital, so those traditional means of interaction. We wanted to combine that leadership with the leadership in AI in those conversations. So we get the best. So if you want to ring on a phone call and speak to a human, our platform caters for it. If you want a digital chat, we can do it. But even more importantly, now with Cognigy, we have the market-leading platform that has scale. And that's really important, because not every AI platform can handle those 20,000 concurrent voice AI calls on the platform in that airline example I gave. So it's got scale, proven at the enterprise end, but is able to deliver to those AI automation self-service needs. The thing we love the most about it is that we're able to go to a whole market that doesn't work with NiCE today, but wants AI automation in their contact center. We're ready to go.
And
We've
you got
got
to
our
figure that
customers.
they're all gonna want that soon, if not already.
I can tell you the demand. You can see it both in the private markets, the startup, the amount of capital that's going into companies that are validating the CX demand of AI automation. It's real. There might be pessimism or questions about AI in enterprise in other areas, but when it comes to customer experience, it's clear, it's validated, and we can see that through Cognigy themselves, their growth. The beauty for us, to answer your question about the business case, is, well, not only does it give us a market opportunity that we couldn't really reach before, but the combination of the two, because what's really going to happen in customer experience? It's not going to be AI, it's not going to be human. It will be both. AI will go to only a certain, when your complex request or your additional ask goes beyond what the AI bots or the AI agents can deliver, you want immediate transference with the knowledge, the context, the history, immediately to that human. Our platform is the only one that delivers both of those in a native way. So that's exciting because it means you can do your end-to-end customer journey and you as a consumer aren't having a fragmented experience.
I had a great experience like that yesterday where I was on, I'll give them credit, Shutterfly, and I'd ordered something and the printing, there had just a tiny little error in it that only I would notice, but it was bugging me. I quickly got through an AI conversation, and they said to talk to an agent, and the agent came on. Instead of being annoyed that I had explained it already and had to explain it again, I wasn't annoyed. They weren't annoyed. They could see from the notes really quickly. They wanted to see a picture of the thing. I sent them a picture from my phone. They fixed it and gave me credit instantly. And it was it was a kind of experience that even a year ago would have could have been miserable, and as I recall, was miserable at other companies I've dealt with. And I wonder what's happening under the hood that's making these so much better than they were a year ago.
There's two reasons for that to be the case, and it brings joy to me because I'm passionate about this market. Ultimately, we want to deliver great experiences for consumers. But there's two reasons why that happens. For us, the underlying data when you're interacting with that AI agent is the same data that is being used for the human agent when they come on. So when they've got their co-pilot and they're assisting, what they're getting in that experience is they're getting a prompted answer to your query that already has the context of your interaction up until that point. There's no handoffs. There's no, let me introduce myself again. So first of all, context transfer, i.e. persistent memory of the engagement with you. And then secondly, is that they're already preempting the task to be done. So the back office tasks that might solve your request is already being prompted and they're able to resolve it. So you're getting more instantaneous result, again, on the CX platform, on the NiCE platform. So either way, you're going to be benefit. Humans will have more requests at a better response rate without any wait time, and they can do it through voice, they can do it through chat, they can do it through email, synchronous, asynchronous, so it can be in the form that you as a consumer would like to engage rather than having to work in the mechanism that the brand has given to you, which often is a voice only at the moment.
Let me go back to the $955 million acquisition of Cognigy. What are the metrics by which you will measure its success, and how do you look at that so we know how to look at it from the outside?
Yeah, no doubt. First of all, we've got our upcoming Capital Markets Day on that we will talk about the growth of our overall portfolio and the cloud growth, because fundamentally this will be accretive to the overall cloud growth of the company, not only in 2026 or Q4 and 2026, but also in the midterm as well. We've also, established that the exit ARR for 2026 at 85 million, growing at an 80% rate, will be for the Cognigy business. So we have a high growth expectation, and that growth comes from new market where we're able to win standalone, working with any of our CCaaS competitors, and then obviously Cognigy inside of our install base. But most importantly is that we're able to then use that platform as our agentic AI to be able to accelerate both what we do today in conversations and interactions with the contact center, but then expand that and reach into those proactive, those sales, those marketings, those back office scenarios, which up until now has been largely out of reach because we've really been the platform to engage that first contact at the contact center, but not about organizational fulfillment, which often requires tasks to be done beyond what the contact center does. So strategically, it really brings an opportunity to go into adjacent markets, doubles our total addressable market over the next few years. But it also allows us to have really fast revenue and ARR growth over the next 12 months.
It also seems to add a little bit of an international flavor. I noticed in the press, obviously it was a German company you acquired, but I noticed in the press release, you talk about the customers they bring along, all, Nestle, Mercedes, Lufthansa, European company, and also the mention of human-like customer service in 100 different languages, which was also super interesting to me in the global nature of that.
It's a remarkable, and you can go onto the platform and quickly play with it yourself. One of the things that I love is, and I think about this scenario, you're in a foreign country, you've got background noise at an airport, you're continuing our airline scenario, and your flight's been cancelled. The real-time ability to be able to translate in a different language your need, and being able to then the AI agent to be able to respond in whatever language you're speaking or whatever location. So text to speech, speech to text, real-time audio translation, but all keeping the context of who you are at the center of the engagement. It deals with sentiment. It deals with the tone of your voice. So the smarts that have been built around this just go beyond the functional need. It really is that human connection. And whilst, yes, in many places it is law to highlight that, look, you're speaking to an AI agent, we all want to know that, you're doing so in a way that feels human. That's pretty important because we don't want to talk to a bot that sounds like they're underwater. We want that experience of feeling like we're interacting with someone who actually relates to us, understands us, and then can solve our challenges or our needs in a very prompt way.
Finally, it's got to make you nuts when you see the kind of mainstream press or even business press say things like, yeah, all this investment in AI, but where are the products? Where's the ROI? Where's the payoff? And no one's really using it except for search. When obviously you guys are deep into the weeds of actually putting it to work.
Yeah, I think we're very fortunate that we're a part of the market where we can prove tangible results. Cognigy, we've been able to reduce containment rates. So i.e. we're able to resolve the need of your call immediately, up to a 90% improvement of containment rates. We are able to reduce the cost because you're able to handle all those first contact much more effectively. Reduction of time, 25-30% reduction of time on call. We look at contact centers, look at average handling time. How long are the customers waiting on their call? Material reduction. So we've got real proof points, real value. And yes, whilst there is commentary around the broader AI market, we are very positive because we see the demand in CX. It's real, it's tangible, and we can prove it, which I think in a lot of other cases may be a little bit more difficult. In our case in CX, it's real and it's now.
Great stuff. Scott Russell, CEO of NiCE. Scott, thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Corey.
All right, it's just about time for the Drill Down Bite, the one number that tells us a whole lot. But first, you can watch the Drill Down podcast on YouTube, Spotify, or listen to the podcast on any of your favorite podcast platforms, iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, iHeart, TuneIn, you name it. Did it with one breath. Please hit that subscribe button to make sure you can catch every show. All right, now it's time for the Drill Down Bite, the one number that tells us a whole lot. That bite, of course, is about NiCE and tells us a lot. And that bite, that number is 39%. That is the growth rate of the AI and self-service business at NiCE, showing where the momentum sits and what's working for NiCE right now. All right, thanks for checking out the Drill Down. I'm Corey Johnson. Check us out on all the socials at Corey TV, on X, and of course on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Drill Down Pod.